Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. This is It's Your Healthy Lifestyle show, hosted by the founder of this platform, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, and myself, Roland Friedl. How important is your health and fitness to you? We show you how you can easily eat healthier every day, how you can improve your fitness and recover much quicker after your exercises and workouts. Families will learn how to optimize their children's health and nutrition. And finally, you will also hear how you live a long, healthy and fit life into your old age. Join us here on It's Your Healthy Lifestyle.
You have your routines, you're feeling healthy, everything's on track, and then you have to travel. You're going away, you're visiting with other people, and your whole system goes upside down. So what happens when we get out of our routine? What is it that we do? What's causing the way we're feeling? We're going to explore this topic today on It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. And joining me is my co-host and dear friend who's going to bring a lot of pertinent information to this. It's Mr. Roland Friedl. Welcome to the program.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Great to see you, and hello to our audience.
Hello, and it's good to see you as well. Well, thank you for joining me on this topic. It's very relevant because I just finished traveling for a keynote speech and panel discussion, and my system is upside down. So I know you travel all the time. You're living in your motorhome, and you're going from one area to the next, and you never know what kind of food they're going to have or what the climate's going to be. So let's dive into this.
Of course. But first of all, you still look fantastic, even when you travel out of routine.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do take good care of myself, so I'm very appreciative. And you look terrific. You always look healthy and well.
Well, I tried my best. I'm always actually every day out of routine because I never know where I'm spending the night or find a spot to stay, whom I'm going to meet, if there's going to be a challenge, how the weather conditions. I'm always out of routine. I love it. But I also learned that I have to take care about myself because, being out of routine for a few days is not an issue for the body. But if you do it for long term, it is definitely an issue, 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's interesting. This is not part of our topic, but long-term fasting. One of our teammates, Red O'Loughlin, we know and love, he does fasting. I think the last time he did for 120 hours, maybe even more. And so his body probably gets used to that since he does it once a month. But if people start even changing the time frames where they're eating, if you're used to eating late at night and then you go to sleep right after that and then you change, all these things have an impact on the body because the body's a machine and it gets used to working in certain ways. And when we realize we're doing things that are potentially unhealthy for our longevity and we go to change them, there can be periods of time where we feel out of sorts, but it's only temporary.
Yeah, when it's temporary, it's okay but as I said, when you do it for long term, because we humans are biologically, we are built around rhythm. Sleep rhythm, eating rhythm, movement, about light exposure, social contact. So our body loves a certain rhythm. And when we are out of this rhythm, then for long term, then we get some issues. 100%. Yes, our body loves rhythm. It may sound boring to get up at the same time, to go to bed at the same time, to eat at the same time. It may sound boring to some people, but it's very healthy. Yeah, we can dive deeper into that a little bit later.
It's interesting because last night we did a show on a woman's prerogative, and we featured our dear friend Red O'Loughlin, a retired Navy captain, and he and I were talking about structure and discipline. And I know you were in the military also, and people who have a military background are very structured and disciplined and used to taking orders and giving orders. And I'm very structured and disciplined. And some people really find a problem dealing with people like us who are structured and disciplined. What do you think that's about?
Well, I sometimes have discussion with people, with this love and light warriors, this spiritual people who said, no, I don't feel it right now. I don't want to do it right now. I want my freedom. But I believe that's not freedom. That's not freedom. 100% not. 100% not. But, we live in a period of time where everything is possible. People are not working hard or anymore. Especially here in Europe. When I look at my grandparents after World War I and II, they had to rebuild the country. My parents had to really work hard so they can provide for my brother and myself a good education, housing, etc. And myself or my kids and my grandkids, they live, well, I wouldn't say peaceful, but a more peaceful time and less stress time. So I guess there's less discipline necessary to survive. Let it call it like this. There's less discipline necessary to survive, especially in Europe, because we have a social system, and so people, especially younger people, are less disciplined because it's not necessary anymore. We're not in a so-called survival model, we're in a consumer model, and that's why it's changing. But we see that those people who are not disciplined, they fail in their jobs, they fail in their relationships, they fail in their health, and so on and so on. So I hope there's a revival coming on so-called old traditional values like discipline.
I agree with you. I think discipline, there's something sexy about discipline. There's something, I think, about the predictability of knowing what you're doing for your body. I think sometimes we forget about that we are showing respect to our body by eating at the same time every day, by going to sleep at the same time. But again, to other people, this is really boring. They just want to see where life takes them. And I can understand that attitude about spontaneity, but at the same time, I don't know that our body always likes spontaneity. So when our body's used to something, it reminds me of a car. For anyone who has a vehicle, a car, a motorcycle, anything that you have to take care of, if you don't do what's required, and Roland, because you're traveling all the time, if you don't take care of your RV, if you don't change the oil, if you don't get the engine checked, all the things that are required, you may be on the road in the middle of nowhere and have a problem. That's happened to me. And it's not a very good feeling. It happened to me. It was actually a tire that was blown out, and I was in the middle of nowhere. And of course, I couldn't do anything because it was a tire, and that's what happens to tires. But if the same thing is relevant for our body, that you may have a tire blow out at some part of your body because you weren't taking care of it.
Yeah. But I think it's also, I think it's part of the system, I don't know how it's in the US, but here in Europe, we have health insurance. There's everything is there, and people believe because they pay for it monthly, and it's they have to pay. You never see it on your paycheck, so you have to pay into the system, and they believe because I pay for it, when something is going wrong, here I am, fix me. And I think it's an education thing that people have self-responsibility on their body. We don't learn it anymore in school because we have hospitals, we have doctors, we have healthcare centers, and people say, "Okay, I pay for it. If I need it, I use it." And only a few people are really so-called preventive, that they're taking care about themselves by choosing the right nutrition, by working out and stuff like, and so on and so on. But I think it's part of the system. We don't learn it anymore in school, taking care about ourselves and being self-responsible.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. There's so many topics we don't actually learn in school, listening, financial responsibility. But one thing I just wanted to touch on is last year I went to Europe twice, as you know, because I met with you and I met with a number of other people. And so I wanted to take my supplements with me that are in powder form. And so I actually brought my blender, and it's a really good expensive blender, not thinking about the currency conversion. And even though I got a converter, it ended up when I was in London, the thing blew up. I mean, thank God it wasn't worse than it was. And so I realized that for my next trip, that even though I had very purposefully and mindfully taken each scoop of each powder and put it into bags, and I had all the different bags for my trip, that without that blender, without the frozen berries, and without the unsweetened almond milk, that I had nothing anyway. So on my recent trip to Denver for business, I didn't take any of it with me. And I just decided I'm not going to eat. I'll just wait until the end of 2 days and then I'll eat. And I ended up eating pizza because that was all that was really there. And my body didn't like it. It's not used to it. It has a routine. And I'm just going to say it. When we eat a certain way, we eat at a certain time, we go to the bathroom. It's like a system. It's a system. You can count on it. And then when you don't have any of that excavating as you normally do, then your body's basically trying to say, what'd you do to me? What's going on?
100%, 100%. You know, I always eat at the same time, around 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Most of the time. And what I learned the last years, you know, is that most people believe that food or eating is there for joy and fun and stuff like that. No, it's not. For me, food intake is to nourish my body so I can have the energy to do what I want. Being tough in business, my workout, I don't know, going hiking tour, being with my kids or whatever. So for me, food is there to nourish me and to give me all the ingredients I need to be empowered and that my body is functional, is working or function properly. And once in a while, I go out for or I cook with friends or my partner, or we go out just for fun. But most of the time, food is for me not fun. It doesn't mean that I don't like what I eat. I love what I'm eating, yeah, but it's not a fun. But most people eat because they're bored. They eat because they're together with friends. They're watching a movie or whatever. But this came with the industry the last decades. We didn't have this 100 years ago. We didn't have the food industry. We didn't have all the stuff. So I know my you know, in summer I spend many weeks with my auntie. She's 86. And we always have a conversation about, okay, how it was 70 years ago or 80 years ago, well, as far as she remembers. I said, okay, there haven't been any supermarkets, not that many restaurants, people are cooking at home. And we ate because we have been hungry and we need the power to work on the farm. We didn't eat for pleasure or for fun or whatever. So we learned this through the industry because they want to sell us a bunch of stuff in the supermarket. So most people, I guess it's not the people's fault. We just came into the system, and especially younger generation, we grew up with the system. We believe what the commercial says, but we don't have a natural access to what our body really needs.
Very true. I love the fact that you mentioned about the system, because I think what also happens is if you are in a place where you're eating mindlessly, you're not being very mindful, you're not looking at what you're putting into your body. Like, for example, when I met you in person, you know, we drank a lot of water. That's what we did. We drank a lot of water. We make sure to drink water. Many people don't like water. They don't like the taste of water. My own mother did not like water. She liked to drink her Coca-Cola. That was the water to her. And she would say, water doesn't taste good. And the whole understanding of, well, you need water. That's what the body is craving. So when we just are doing things without intention, we're not actually looking at what are we putting into our system. It's not even just about counting calories. It's about what is it we are putting in the body, because then it's got to go through a whole digestive process all through our intestines. And as someone who has ulcerative colitis for 35 years, I can tell you that when your intestines and your colon are not happy with what you're giving it, they let you know.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Yeah, 100%. Well, when you mentioned drinking water, like Jacalyn, no, I drink a lot of water, natural water. But I don't drink it because I like the taste so much. I drink it because I know it's good for my system. I drink it because I'm thirsty. I don't want to dehydrate, because when I dehydrate, I cannot focus. I get dizzy. I get a headache. So I drink a lot of water because my body deserves water. But for a good taste, once in a while, once a week or every second week, I have maybe a small glass of wine or something with a steak. But but yeah, it's funny because, as you said, that's what people are used to. So okay, it has to taste. What do you mean it has to taste? You drink water because your body deserves the water.
It needs it and it wants it. And by the way, this might be a little off topic. I could have mentioned it during Unscripted, our earlier show today, but I happened to be, when I was away, I needed to use the public restroom, and I went in, and of course there was a stall that no one bothered flushing the toilet, and the urine was bright yellow. And I thought, dehydrated. That person who was here was completely dehydrated. So I don't know if people actually pay attention to the color of their urine, but it tells you a lot. It tells you a story. And so the urine should be a pale yellow. If it's a bright yellow or orange or brown or anything else, each color signifies something. So your body's giving you a message.
100%. Because you mentioned this, sometimes I'm shocked when it happened to me, because when I was sweating in the night and I didn't drink, and then I go in the morning, wake up, and say, oh my gosh, okay, I drink water. Yeah, I always look at the color of my urine, but normally it's okay. But yeah, it gives us feedback, but most people are not aware of this. 100% not aware.
And you know what? Even for people who are aware, what it requires is like anything else. It requires discipline and structure. And so if you're urinating and you look down and see the color and it's not a pale yellow, that means take action, drink more water. So what happens if you don't drink water? What happens if you're in a state where you're perpetually dehydrated, Roland?
Well, first of all, when you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So we have to drink, during the day, all the time, even when we don't feel thirsty. Well, I drink all the time during the show, all the time, even if I'm not thirsty. But because actually, when we are thirsty, we're already dehydrated. So we have a certain stage of dehydration. What I feel when I'm dehydrated, and sometimes it happens that sometimes I go on a hike. Or let's say I go on a hike. I go on a dog walk, and I sometimes say, let's do an hour, and then I go for 3-4 hours, and I didn't bring water with me. Then I get dehydrated, and what I feel is that I lose my focus. I get dizzy. I get a headache. I don't feel good. I'm like unplugged, So I'm unplugged. I don't have the power. And it happened to me in the mountains in Norway that I really felt lost. I had no idea where I am. I felt totally lost because of dehydration. So dehydration is something that is very, very dangerous, very, very dangerous. Long before you die, you get confused. You don't know where you are. You don't feel good. So it's all about drinking water. And I can tell our audience, you get used to non-sparkling water. I don't know, when I was in 16, 17 years old, very into sports, we are already drinking a lot of water, always sparkling water. And then I read an article about sparkling water, how unhealthy it is. So I changed to natural water and non-sparkling water. What was really boring in the beginning, because when you get used to the sparkling. But now I can't have sparkling water. I only drink sparkling water when it's the only option I can get. There's no natural water. But we get used to everything. And of course, water is not sparkling. It's not champagne. It's not a good red wine. But it's okay, and we get used to it. And the point is, we can have excuses or we have goals. And my goal is to stay fit and healthy as long as possible, so I can try life for the fullest. That's why I go with water. Even when sometimes it's boring, because I drink 3 to 4 liters, and sometimes it's boring, and then I need, when I want a little taste, I put in some, I choose some lemon juice or some lime or inside, or sometimes when I want some taste.
It makes perfect sense. I want to go back to something that you said earlier, which is when we look at eating as entertainment, and I grew up in an environment like this, and I know people who they're going from one meal to the next. What should we have for dinner? What should we have for breakfast? What should we have for lunch? And for me, I eat the same thing every single day. Every day, I eat the same thing. I have 2 protein shakes. I have tuna. I have caper. I could go through the whole thing, but it's the exact same thing every day. And I still enjoy it. I still look forward to it. And it takes out a lot of the thought process of, okay, if I have 5 ounces of this and 7 ounces, there's no measuring of anything. And some people, like I know our dear friend Red, he would say you need to change up the protein every day. So I'll change from tuna to chicken, but that's about it. I don't eat red meat. And so what I find is a lot of the stress around what are we going to eat is completely eliminated because I already know that answer.
100%. Same to me. You know, when I'm traveling alone, like I do at the moment, because my partner, she's for business somewhere for 7 weeks away. It's clear. At 11 a.m., I have 3 boiled eggs or 4, and how to call it, some burger patties. So I eat some burger patties and 2 burger patties and boiled eggs. That's my breakfast. Around, call it breakfast or early lunch, around 11. And at 5 p.m., I have burger patties, bacon, or a steak. So it's always the same. Every single day is the same I eat, so I don't worry about everything. So I know what I have to get when I go to a farmhouse. The only thing is when I'm with my partner, because she has 2 kids, then we talk about, because for the kids it's not the best way. Then we talk about, okay, what could we cook tomorrow for them that they love it and stuff like that. Yeah. But when I'm by myself or just my partner, myself, without the kids, it's never an issue what we're going to prepare. It's always the same. Always the same. And it's not boring. And the point is, there's so much time and energy spent for more important things than just getting food. But for a lot of people, food is so important. I don't know why, but I think, as I said, it's a big part of the system. There's a huge industry behind it. It has never been before. My auntie says she doesn't understand it. You know, she still is the same like she was when she was young, because I love to always have a conversation with her how it was years ago when she was young. And she said, well, it was difficult. It was difficult to get variety because there was not much offering. Today you go to the supermarket, you get 100 different cereals, you get 100 different ice creams, 50 different mayonnaise or whatever. That this wasn't on the market, and it's more complicated, and people, yeah. You know, you have a lot of cooking shows, cooking books, and cooking workshops. It's a huge business, it's a huge industry. But the point is, even there is everything on the market. On people are not healthier or fitter than years ago. We have more obesity, we have more heart attacks, we have more strokes, we have more diabetes. So something is going wrong here.
I agree with you. I think that it's also a matter of the way that we grew up. If, as I mentioned, you know, food was a big part of a reward system. So when you do things well, we go out to dinner, we celebrate, and then we're actually there for hours with one course after another. And now I can't even imagine doing that. But what I have to say that I think also has changed is, without having children, there were routines where I would sit with my parents and my sister and we would have dinner. It was a family event. And then today things are so different because it's not about sitting and dining. So you're not spending hours together over food. And I think to the people I know, most people have different versions of what it is that they're eating. I know very few people who are not eliminating something, especially as we get older. I can't eat this, or I can't eat that, or I eat at a certain time. I couldn't imagine going out to dinner at 7 o'clock at night. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen at 8 o'clock. I usually go to bed at 9. So in a perfect world, on the weekends, my second meal is at 3 o'clock, and then I'm not eating again until the next morning. But for other people, they might have 6 meals a day, and there's a whole different philosophy. Is it 3 meals a day? Is it 2 meals? Is it 1? Is it 6? I don't know. So I'd love to have us talk a little bit about, I know you did some research for the show today about what actually happens to our body when it's out of its routine.
a lot of things is going on, and it happens very silently, slowly. We don't realize in the beginning, but then it hits us. So when we are out of routine for a long time, like when we are like myself, when we're traveling, when we are running a business, entrepreneurs, we're not working 9 to 5 or more hours, especially in the beginning when we build up something new, remote workers, even shift workers. I remember when I was a student, I was a shift worker in a steel company. My gosh, I was totally out of routine. It was really terrible for me. Or also people that have a traumatic, like get divorced, they lose their partner, or they have a burnout. Or what I also see is people who retire and they're losing totally their structure. They get out of routine totally because they can sleep longer and stuff like that. So we all see it on the retired people which don't follow a certain structure. So what we see with these people is that, first of all, their sleep is the first insignal is their sleep is lighter and shorter, so they don't sleep well. That's one thing that we see. And you can measure is that the stress hormone, the cortisol, is increasing much higher and for much longer. And we all know that cortisol is not the best thing. It's a stress hormone. That's one thing. Then what we also see is that the energy crashes very often. So people have more energy crashes, that they don't feel good. Like I said, like I'm being unplugged. For most people, the motivation drops, of course. When you feel fatigued, tired, you didn't sleep well, of course, the motivation drops. When motivation drops, there is a chance to get about a burnout, a depression, anxiety. And what I mentioned before is when I get dehydrated is that your focus and decision-making gets worse. So it has an unusual impact. And what's happening is when people get out of routine, what you mentioned, Dr. Jacalyn, people start emotional eating, or they're taking drugs, alcohol, for example. Alcohol consume increases totally. What we also see that people don't stay with their workout because they feel fatigued, they didn't sleep, so they don't follow their training routine. It disappears the structure. When you see in your body is that inflammation goes up, the inflammation markers rise, the immune system weakens. And the other thing is what most people don't understand, when you don't sleep good, when you don't good routine, it's really difficult to lose weight. So the body holds more fat, especially around the belly here. And because because let's say when you're out of routine, this is a signal that your body that it's uncertain times, because as I said in the beginning, we humans, we love rhythm, a certain rhythm of sleep, a certain rhythm of eating, and so on and so on. So when we're out of routine, this is a signal to our body that it's hard times, we're facing hard times. So it's storing more belly fat. So you can train as much as you want, you can eat as healthy as you want, but when you're out of routine and the stress hormone cortisol is very, very high, it's very, very difficult to get rid of the belly fat. So there's some of these negative things.
And by the way, the belly fat, as we get older, it can shift as well. So what might start off with a cute little pooch, a little thing, it ends up migrating, and it can be those muffin tops around the sides. When I was growing up, when I was growing up, there was a commercial on from Kellogg's. I think it was Special K, not a paid spokesperson. I don't know if you use Special K outside of the States, but if you could pinch an inch, then you had a problem. And I think as we get older, you might be able to pinch an inch or more, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's fat. It could also be skin, depending on your situation, because as we get older and we lose weight and we lose fat, then we still have the skin unless you have it surgically removed, which is another topic. So what are your thoughts about when we can look down and say, yeah, I think that's a problem? If it's your belly, what do you think?
Well, I mean, when we talk, for example, when we talk about belly fat, when we talk, for example, about visceral fat, this is fat you don't see. And maybe you're slim, but you also have visceral fat, which is around all your organs to to protect your organs from any toxins. And it can also happen to slim people. and but it's a very bad fat, the visceral fat. So it's all about. It doesn't matter. It's all about eating healthy, but also get good sleep. Sleep is so important. And sleep was over the years was always underestimated. And a few, I guess 3 decades ago, something like that, there came up this, for this entrepreneurs that being successful, Tony Robbins and so on. Okay, this 5 o'clock, this 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock club. Yeah, get up early, get things done early in the morning. Yes, I'm also getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I try to go to bed early. So what most people miss is you can get up at 5 every morning. That's not an issue, but try to get your 7 hours sleep. So meaning going to bed at latest at 10. So for me today, it's a little bit later because I'm producing another show here. But normally I go to bed between 8:30 and 9:30. I go very early.
Kind of similar. I agree. And I think one of the other topics is subcutaneous fat, which is the kind of fat that you can see under the skin. And so I think what is known as cellulite, where you can see it in certain areas. I don't know if cellulite and subcutaneous fat are the same thing, but when the skin is getting thinner as we age, you can see more of what's going on. So for example, I can see more veins and not those veins that stick out, but my skin is thinner. And I think because I've eliminated a lot of the inflammation, I can see my veins. And so that's supposedly a good thing, according to the doctor. And I know, like in my hands, I have visible veins, which is a good thing as well. So I think if you are carrying extra body weight, what is it? And I know at the gym that I go to that they do a certain kind of test. I forget what it's called, but they'll actually tell you, and they have scales like this, that can tell you your body fat. So where are you carrying extra weight? I've seen some very slim, thin people. Their whole body is thin, and then they have this belly. So I don't know exactly what that means, but I think we're all carrying extra weight as we get older. I mean, I forget it, at least in the United States, the rate of obesity, it continues to grow. And I think paying more attention to the fact that we need to respect our body. Your body is a temple.
100%. Well, maybe, I don't, hopefully my partner's not watching. My partner, she's very slim, in a very good shape, but she has a little bit of belly, she's 51. And she said, she has an issue with that. I said, okay, you can get rid of it, but what her issue is, she has a lot of stress. She's not sleeping much. So she goes to bed around midnight and gets up at 4:35 at the latest. So she's not sleeping. I said, you have to sleep more. But she has an amazing but a very stressful job. So you have to sleep more. You can train, work out like crazy. You can also have a very proper nutrition, but it's a sleep. Because if you don't sleep enough and you don't have a good sleep, your cortisol is too high, and then you can do whatever you want. It's very difficult to get rid of this little belly fat in front of you. It's sleep. And as I said before, sleep was underestimated, but it's so important. It's so important. And actually, I was the same, I was very proud in my 20s and 30s that I only need 3-4 hours of sleep. I can work like crazy building up my companies. Sometimes I didn't sleep for 3-4 days, and I was very proud of it because I didn't understand what it's a long-term risk. But now I'm more clever, I'm more educated. I did a lot of research, and I cannot emphasize it. Sleep is so important. Getting good sleep. And the best way is, we're producing TV here, but not TV late in the night, no social media, no technical stuff. And it's also important. And I learned it to go really on a regular bedtime. And I can fall asleep in a few minutes, and I get up in the morning. So maybe talk a little bit about when we are getting out of routine, what we should do, or what is helpful. And I think everyone can do it. And I love, I'm not a fan of quick fixes, because they never work on the long term. I'm a fan of things that work on a daily basis, and everyone can do it. Everyone can do it if they want it. if they have no excuses, as I always say, my phrase, Dr. Jacalyn, my quote, when the why is strong enough, the what and the how shouldn't be an issue. So I think it's very, very important waking up at the same time in the morning. It hasn't to be 5 o'clock like I do. Maybe it's 6, 6:30, 7, whatever. But waking up at the same time, getting a sleeping routine is so, so important. And then a morning walk. It doesn't have to be an hour and a half like I do with my dog, but a short morning walk. And you can do it everywhere. If you live in a city, go to a park or whatever. So a short morning walk is very, very good. And then we both noticed it's very good. It's strength training, or meaning lifting weights or stuff, or lifting your own. I work with my own body weight 3 times a week is really good. And eating whole food, and as I said, always on the same time. And there are discussion about 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, 5 meals a day. I mean, when you're working out heavily, bodybuilding like crazy, and I don't know what you do. Okay, you need a lot of calorie index. Of course, you need a lot more different food times, but I eat twice a day, and it's more than enough. I would love to eat only once a day, because my auntie told me in the early years they only had only 1 meal a day, but I cannot eat that much in a short time, so I eat twice a day. And what I also highly, highly recommend is, when you go to sleep, put away your phone, put it on sleep mode or on flight mode or something, put it away. It is very, very, very important. And when you go to bed, I think at least 10 minutes, 10 quiet minutes, without everything, just laying down. What I do, I just be thankful and grateful what was positive on the day, and this helped me to fall asleep, because I don't have any worries. I don't recap negative stuff. I just be grateful for the positive stuff. What was going on during the day? People I met, or a flower I found, or a bird was singing, or whatever it is, and then I fall asleep very, very fast. And this may sound boring to some people, but I can tell you, with this power you get, your life is not boring. You can build up businesses, you can travel, you can have a lot of fun with friends during the day, with your family, because you're full of energy, you're fit, you don't feel fatigue, you don't feel any pain, you don't have to see doctors or physiotherapists. You're just full in your power. It was a long quote, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. One thing I just wanted to share before we wrap up is, I was doing 3 workout classes a day, and actually today was scheduled to do 3. And what I found is, after doing 2, not right then, but maybe right before I'm about to go to sleep, I am exhausted. I am completely and totally spent. And so I did some research on it, and basically 3 classes is not better than 2 classes, because my body needs to rest. And so I've decided I'm going to stick with 2 classes a day instead of 3. But mentally, I feel like I'm giving up something, because I'm always going after the next thing. But the cortisol level, the recovery that's needed, those are all factors that I need to take into consideration.
Yeah. Sometimes, less is more. Sometimes less is more.
Exactly.
We are both so performance driven from business, and then we do it also in our free time. But this is sometimes really dangerous. And I was talking to a very good friend of mine. He won several gold medals in Olympic Games, and I said, Roland, yes, he trains many, many hours, but that's my full-time job. I'm not going to business. I'm not going to the office. Afterwards, I get a massage, I get a therapist, I have a cook for myself. So it's a different circumstances. So he can train 6 hours a day, but with a whole team, with the whole equipment supporting him. What I want to add at the end about our coming back to a routine is, what is interesting is that your body responds very, very quickly when you go back to a routine. You get immediate results when you go back to a certain sleep rhythm, when you go back to a certain eating rhythm and pattern. You will get results very, very quick. You will see that you sleep better, you have more energy and stuff like that. So don't give up. It's really working.
Good point. Roland, there are many people out there who would like some help. Who can you help and how do you do it?
First of all, if you have any issues, or even if you don't have to have an issue, you can always contact me. I love to connect with people. It's all about sharing and caring. The best way to connect with me is send me an email. It's office@rolandfriedl.com. That's also my website, rolandfriedl.com. Send me an email. Let me know what you want to talk about, where you're coming from, but more importantly, where you're heading to. What are your goals? What is the direction you want to go in? Or maybe you need somebody to help you to make a decision. I'm there for you. I'm more than happy to support you. I did it with thousands of people all over the globe. So just contact me and let's take it from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. And by the way, you've got a couple of shows coming up, and you're doing 2 shows today or 1?
Actually, I forgot to register the shows. So I go for break because I have around 96 Fahrenheit.
Oh my God.
Degrees here. I'm sweating like crazy. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can. I can see that. Yeah.
I go outside in the forest, walk my dog, and then I'm very happy to support Kimberly on her show and producing her show.
All right, fantastic. So join Roland next week for Der Mutmacher Show and Der Macher Show.
Ja, genau, der Machertag und der Mutmachertag. Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, Roland. Everybody who's out there, thank you for watching our shows. By the way, this is not the only show that we have. You can go over to our YouTube channels, which are here, USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. We have over 60 different shows that you can watch. We have 3 different languages, German, French, and English. Please do subscribe and even consider being a member where you get exclusive access over on USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Thank you again for watching. Are you interested in hosting your own TV show? Do you think you have what it takes? Well, the good news is you don't need any training because we'll train you. We'll coach you, but you've got to be coachable and you've got to have this passion inside of you that you have a story to tell. You can interview other people. You can do the show yourself. So what's required? Let's take a look.
Hey, you. Psst. Yes, you. Watching this right now. Are you creating content, a blog, a podcast, a newsletter, going live on Instagram or TikTok, and still not seeing real visibility or growth? Here's why. Anyone can post, anyone can go live, but not everyone is positioned to be taken seriously. Right now, people are going to YouTube to search for experts, for answers, for credibility. So while you're putting in the work, someone else is being seen as the authority. Not because they know more, because they're positioned better. Now imagine this, your own professionally produced TV show, marketed, distributed, optimized with SEO so people can actually find you. Not just seen, but searchable, discoverable, positioned. You're trained, you're coached, you're guided. No experience necessary, but you do have to be coachable because this is about stepping into a higher level. This isn't about doing more, it's about doing it right. We've already built the platform, 2 YouTube channels, a global audience, a Silver Creator Award. So the question is, how much longer are you going to rely on temporary visibility when you could be building real authority? If you're ready to be seen differently, go to usaglobaltv.com and apply to host your own show. This is for individuals who are serious about investing in their visibility, their credibility, and their growth. If that's you, we're ready. USA Global TV and Radio, where your voice becomes your platform. Executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Videographer, Paul Garcia. Voiceover, Ed Vargas. All rights reserved. This production is the exclusive property of the USA Global TV and Radio and may not be reproduced, distributed, or used without written permission.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com. a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.